Hey everybody, Robbie with Bible Tech here again. Today we're doing another live technology Q&A. It's kind of like tech support, but I'm going to be explaining concepts as opposed to actually leading people through exactly how to resolve their issue. Unless it can be easily done in the form of a live video, I will attempt to do it. Usually tech support requires some sort of remote control though, which I'm not going to be doing, at least not yet, with this type of setup. So, believe it or not, I actually did get a question or two this week in my email, ironically, before I even put it on my website as something people could ask me about. But, hey, I actually do have questions. So let's go ahead and start with one right now. Let's flip over here. I got this email from Horst, and he mentioned that he said, I just subscribed to your channel and I like your videos. I am 73 years old and was always interested in software and how-tos. The Google Photos really got me confusing. They, like you say, back up, but you still see them like they're still there, lol. Some concerns I have are, is it true that Google owns your photos once uploaded? I have at least 10,000 photos. Would they be safe at Google? What if their server crashes? How do you back up your stuff? On my Android phone, I have an SD card and usually transfer files from phone to card, but my file manager tells me all the time that my phone is 92% used, blah blah blah, etc. I like to take a video with my phone, but never any space. I must be doing something wrong. Sorry, I have so many questions, and English is not my first language. Well, Horst, as I mentioned in the email, I doubt you're watching this, but that is totally fine. And I must say, for 73 years old, you are doing fantastic. Even finding my email address is quite the feat, because I didn't actually advertise on my website until recently, and you emailed me before then by a number of weeks. So I responded to Horst. I apologize for not responding sooner. I have not checked this inbox much until today. And I mentioned what I just said. And I did a question and answer here for him. Is it true that Google owns your photos once uploaded? And I showed him a lowdown of the terms of service. If anybody is interested in that, I will put it in the description below. But effectively, let me go ahead and pull over here. This is from LifeWire. And this was on December 2019, so pretty recently. But here's the summary. By submitting, posting, or displaying the content, you give Google a perpetual or irrevocable worldwide royalty-free and non-exclusive license to reproduce, adapt, modify, translate, publish, publicly perform, publicly display, and distribute any content which you submit, post, or display on or through the services. So the direct answer is, yeah, they own your stuff once you post it. But then they say, some of our services like upload, submit, store, send, or receive content. You retain ownership of any intellectual property rights that you hold in that content. In short, what belongs to you stays yours. But that's kind of the opposite of what they said above. And what I think is happening here, it says you retain ownership of any intellectual property rights that you hold in that content. In other words, if you declare something under a certain copyright, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know how you would do that. Basically, that would override any of the aforementioned Google rights, right? So if you have if you're a publisher and you were to put a book on Google Drive or store it there, which is Google's Office suite, and you have it copyrighted, then that overrides any rights Google has to that content. But most people don't do that. And again, this is kind of an only slightly educated assumption. Again, I'm not a lawyer. Wanted to become one when I was younger. Didn't happen. Yeah, so that answers that question, I think. Essentially, if you really care about your privacy and security, try your best not to use Google products. And that is effectively what I've done. I know, ironically, I am using Gmail here. And I have a number of Gmail accounts. And I am in the process of transitioning away from Google to something like Tunatona, I believe, or Proton Mail. And I'll go ahead and pull up one of my favorite websites here. my own. Okay, no, it's ironic. But I'm just hopping off my own from the privacy page to bring you over to privacytools.io. I know I have a link for it here somewhere. I think it's under email. Let's see. Yeah, privacytools.io. So they have tons and tons of stuff here, and there's all sorts of different email services that you can sign up for that are theoretically better for privacy. There's Proton Mail, that one's popular. Mailbox.org, not free. Postio, Disroot, Sovereign, Tuna Noda. I don't even know how to say that, but this one was popular. Tutanota, and Proton Mail are free options. Now, are they more limited than Google? Yeah, because you are not and I say limited in the sense that limited for free, right? It is limited for free. Alright, so you have a viewer. You can go ahead and type in your chat box and ask me a question anytime, and I will start talking about whatever you ask me about, at least to the best of my ability, regarding technical questions. Welcome to the channel. Right now we are talking about privacy-centric email providers and why you probably shouldn't be on Google. I know, irony of ironies, I'm on YouTube, I'm using Gmail, etc. But right now I'm just offering you some other options. Privacytools.io has a lot of different options here for you. Proton Mail is a pretty good option from what I've heard. They've been around for a long time. Okay, back to the email question. Let's see. I have at least 10,000 photos. Would they be safe at Google? What if their server crashes? And I responded, if you don't mind Google owning your stuff, it's about as safe as it can reasonably be. They have many servers and redundancy. That means if one drive fails, another one already has a copy of it stored on there. So it's not just backed up, it's redundant. That's it. It should not be the only place you back things up. It is a rule of thumb among techs who have been in the field for a while. You should have 2 local, aka 2 at your house, right, wherever you are, or at your job if you're a system administrator, copies of any file that's important to you, and 1 remote, like Google, Amazon, or Nextcloud storing them. Nextcloud is a company that offers free software for any other company or consumer to use that replicates Google's services as much as it can, and it's growing every year. I use a Nextcloud server myself. If you go back to that privacytools.io, they have a number of providers that you can go with for Nextcloud syncing, cloud storage under provider, so you can choose your hoster for Nextcloud. And they're fantastic. It effectively reproduces everything Google Keep and Google Drive can do for you. With a few things lacking, but for me it's been enough. That and LibreOffice together are a great pairing if you want to do Office stuff and have it backed up. They also have a contacts and calendar through Nextcloud, and you can, I think, pair one of those other email services with Nextcloud so you can have it all in one place. How easy that is, I'm not sure, but Nextcloud is actually very easy if all you're looking to do is back up your files and have some semblance of privacy. If you're a nerd, you can set up Nextcloud yourself like I did on your own hardware. So, short version on that, TLDR. If you're worried about just not losing your stuff, Google's the way to go. If you're worried about privacy and not losing your stuff, don't use Google. Just have external drives and sign up for some other service that is more privacy-centric, because Google's terms of service effectively says, yeah, we own your stuff unless you explicitly copyright it. How do I back up my stuff? It was the next question. And I responded, I have a large external drive I copy my pictures to periodically, and a server running Nextcloud. So I have a server in the other room, and it backs up all of my files that I find important automatically to it, and I have an external drive, and I have on my computer. What is the downside of this? Well, I don't have the offsite backup, which I recommended to other people, right? I'm not paying someone to have my stuff elsewhere. This isn't great, but I feel safe enough with it. None of my files are going to be catastrophic to me losing them, right? I mean, I'm putting the most valuable content I create on websites, right? Like this one. So, I mean, I could lose pictures of my kids, but I wouldn't, lose my kids, for instance. So files don't mean a whole lot to me. They're kind of transient. I'm more of like an in the now type person. At least I am currently. The person's next question was, on my Android phone, I have an SD card and usually transfer files from phone to card, but my file manager tells me all the time my phone is 92% used. I've seen this before, where Android will tell you it successfully moved the files, but it still says your phone is full. That's kind of frustrating. I did a video about this that I recommended. Ironically, the Google Photos app has a free up space option that seems to be a little bit more reliable at deleting that stuff, at least after it's been sent to Google Photos. Other than that, you can reboot your phone. And yeah, that's it for that question. Let's see what we got now. I answered some people on Reddit. Now, Reddit, if you're not familiar with it, is a forum board website that's pretty popular. It's up there with like Facebook in popularity. And people can ask questions or interact with each other across, G-rated to X-rated topics with some parental controls in there, so it's not a total wild, wild west like 4chan is. Hopefully I don't get banned just for mentioning that other website. But I do have a sub-forum there called reddit.com/r/BibleTech. If you want to interact with each other or ask questions there, feel free. And alright, so let's see, any other questions in my inbox? No, not at the moment. So let me go to my channel comments. Here's some comments I've responded to previously. Can you tell me how to delete stuff from Google Photos? I thought it would only back up my photos. I've inadvertently clicked something to allow it to back up my documents. Please help. So this is one of those things where somebody is worried about that TOS, I'd assume. Now, there is a service called Google Sync, and you can download it on almost any computer, and it will synchronize your stuff to the respective Google Cloud services for free, backing your stuff up to a total of 15 gigabytes, or in the case of photos and videos, it is almost unlimited, because they use an algorithm to shrink things on their servers. And I responded, you can go to photos.google.com, sign in if necessary, you can delete things there. Drive.google.com for documents. So, until you start intentionally trying to get rid of Google, you don't realize how much it is everywhere. There's actually a website where you can listen to all the recordings Google has of you, at least that we know about. And it's really freaky. It's really freaky. It's a Google thing, and they're like, hey guys, see, it's your data. You can hear your own voice when we record you. Oh yeah, that's great, Google. That's fantastic. Yay. And then that stuff that's supposed to be used with their Google Assistant, right? But sometimes it's picking up conversations that have nothing to do with that, and that's not very cool. I am very much a fan of the way Apple is purportedly making more and more of their services actually run locally on your device, and it's not theoretically sending too much data to Apple when you make a request to Siri. That's great, and I really hope Apple is as good on the back end of the way their technology works as they're making themselves out to be. Because if they're not, there really is no one way, unless you're a nerd, and I guess that's still true. There is no one company, one service, one piece of technology that you can use to stay up to date with all your friends and family members and, make purchases, etc., in a privacy-centric way. There's no one device that makes that easy at all. Right now I'm looking into the Pine 64 company. They're essentially a technology charity of sorts. They give their devices away at cost. They only have like $10 off the top of that to cover some other charity thing. Personally, that's ironically my only... They're very privacy-centric, by the way. That's why I'm looking into them. But ironically, that's one of my only complaints about them, is that they aren't taking more money from people. I wish they would take more money from me if it makes their hardware and software live up to the expectations of everyday consumers, right? And that's Pine 64. You can look them up. They have laptops, tablets, phones. The tablets and phones are kind of beta right now, but they're usable. But the laptop is pretty solid. You know, it doesn't have all the software you'd like to have, but you can think of it as a Chromebook plus stuff, right? And all of their stuff is very affordable, as you'd imagine, being a charity. But I really wish they would ask for a little bit more money. Now, if they're pulling what major companies have done in the past, which I really hope they are, where they're disrupting the market by offering low-cost equipment to make a name for themselves, and then they're going to start raising more money to further development, I am totally behind that. Please, if anybody from Pine is listening to me right now, please do that. I'm okay with it. You might want to prep people a little bit, though, and say, hey, we are, basically a charity, but we need to pour money back into ourselves a little bit, so we're raising the cost, or we have this on our roadmap, right? I'm totally okay with that, and I think that's a fantastic idea. Next person asks, hey, I'm new to Google's Photo Sync. I'm confused why it downloads photos and videos to my computer. Help. Okay, this is one of those times where I'm very disappointed in our education system, right? Like, I don't know where this person's from. I don't know what school system they went into. I don't know anything about them. But it's fairly safe to say they've been to some public education in their life. It looks like an adult's profile. Just from their name and profile picture, it looks like they have them and their child in there. I mean, it is disgusting how public schools are effectively only educating you on one piece of software, and that's Microsoft Office or Google Drive. That's basically it, unless you're taking some sort of elective or additional stuff. They just push you right through the school system and say, hey, this is how you save a Word file. People don't even know how to use their file managers, right? This person's own sentence, if they understood basic technology definitions, and this is not on them, this is what my channel is for. I'm here to help you guys out. But I'm just trying to point something out here. This person's own sentence should have answered their question. It says, I am new to Google's Photo Sync. I am confused why it keeps downloading photos and videos on my computer. Help. What does sync mean? Sync means to keep two things with matching files. So whatever they have backed up before to Google, and they enable the synchronization option, it's going to make sure that all their files they've ever backed up on every computer and every phone are now going to be synced to their computer. So they're going to have the same files. That's synchronization, right? And people don't know this. They don't even know how to use a file manager. I can't tell you how many times people have asked me for help, resetting their passwords because they don't remember their passwords. And that's what my channel effectively is for, right? I think most technology and tech support is going to evolve to the point where it's not so much fixing problems, because we're getting more and more technology that's disposable. I think it's going to be more educating people on how to use this technology. And if you aren't, as a tech support person, already moving in that direction, and you build up your patience for dealing with people who don't understand things, please do build up that patience. If you're not a gearhead, you're not a car guy, and you take your car to a shop as a technician, a computer technician, and you don't know what they're talking about, you're like, just fix the car. You should understand how it feels to be the other person, okay? Everybody's smart in something, everybody's less educated on something, right? Whether they're a doctor, lawyer, politician, and a nerd, okay? Don't be highfalutin about yourself. Don't get upset at people. All right, you need the tech support field. I guarantee it is effectively turning into an education field. It has been for a very, very long time. It's one-on-one consulting, one-on-one technician. You're gonna have to figure out prices around that. Okay, so I have just checked my chat here. From someone named Fake Mayonnaise. You watch Johnny School Days by Richie Kavanaugh on my dad's channel. He would appreciate your support. I mean, I will potentially check that out. I won't be doing it during the live stream, as this is for tech support and / tech education questions. And I don't want to live stream something that's potentially not okay to live stream. But I'll try to remember to check that out. Fake Mayonnaise. Not a huge fan of mayo. Not that it's terribly relevant. Okay, so yeah, basic technology education, that's what I'm here for. One of the first videos on my channel is like an hour long. tutorial on how to use a mouse, and I made it as interesting as I possibly could. And it's sad to me that may not get a huge reach. I mean, most of my channel's videos are ironically for people that are possibly never going to see them on YouTube. So this channel mostly depends on educators, tech support people, friends and family members who have friends and family members that are less technically savvy. And yeah, maybe I'd be better off lobbying Congress to get a better education system. Who knows? Alright. Hi, this person says, hey, is this how I can recover videos back on Google Photos? I don't know exactly what that means, so I took a guess, and I said, hi, you can use it to transfer media from one Google account to another. So they're asking about my video where you download all your photos and videos to Google Photos. And if you're changing your Google account, yeah, sure. I mean, you download it, set up a new account, re-upload it. Yes. Now I get this question. I've gotten this question a lot with the downloading photos and videos, and people actually yelled at me and said I was wasting their time. And they said it in a very funny way. I'll just leave it at that. See if you can find the comment. I effectively told them, this isn't something I have control over, right? Google has given us this one option, effectively, to download your photos and videos from their service. And it's not the best option, right? That link is going to expire if you don't get to it soon enough, and it may expire nearly after it's done processing. I've seen something like that happen before, where I was like, man, I had 4 hours, and I set it, and it took an unknown amount of time. I didn't see the email in time, and now I can't download it. It's just really, really frustrating. Really, really frustrating. You can manually download your pictures month by month if you wanted to by using shift and click and downloading. And yeah, I mean, that may almost, for some of you, it may almost be a superior option. But effectively, this person was saying, hey, it ends up the file. It contains JSON files, not pictures. JSON files are like databases, effectively, to organize your pictures for you. But if you keep digging down, you're going to find your pictures. Unfortunately, you may have to go through 3 or 4 folders for each picture, and that is ridiculous. What you really should be doing is you take a photo manager like iPhoto or Apple Photos or whatever, or Darktable, which is a free one. There's a lot of really nice free photo and video managers out there. Windows has one built in. I think it's just called Photos and Videos. And you want to just add the folder that you extracted in that application, and it will find all those photos and videos for you, provided that Google did it right, which sometimes they don't. Apparently it comes out corrupted. That's great, so you just can't get your stuff back. That's why you want more than one backup, or not backing up to Google at all, right? Somebody asks, if I download these photos and videos, do they stay in Google Photos after I download them to my PC? Yes. Somebody asks, yeah, I don't even remember. I'm not gonna bother with that one. I don't understand enough of it. Let's see what else we got here. Not a whole lot of other questions. I'm tempted to just start showing you guys random things about Linux here. Maybe I'll just do that. I have a huge list of videos I'm going to be coming out with soon. Maybe I should check that. Let me check my little tutorial guide now, see if I can just make a how-to real quick with you guys live. Won't be super good quality, but then again, none of my videos are, right? Okay. Alright, great. I have a bunch of questions that I was going to turn into videos. I'm going to just take one of those and go. What is a Chromebook? A Chromebook is a cheap, inexpensive device, usually in the form of a laptop. If it's not a laptop, it might be called a Chrome Stick or a Chrome Box. Those are the desktop variants. Those are devices that are effectively designed by Google with Google's own Linux-based operating system, kind of like Android. It runs Android apps. It has a browser, Google Chrome, and you can run some Linux apps on it as well. Ironically, it's a Linux device, and they just have the ability to run Linux apps. When they first came out, they were just a browser. They didn't do a whole lot more than that, but you can do anything you can do in a browser, which is what most people do with their computers anyway, right? So they are good devices if you're okay going the Google route. If you have an ounce of interest in privacy, though, I recommend checking out my ThinkPad Buyer's Guide on my website, bobble.tech, and getting a cheap ThinkPad on eBay for around the same price as a Chromebook, and installing Linux for, your user in your house who just wants to use the internet. Because when it comes to using the internet, you install a browser like Brave, which is Chrome but with privacy and no Google stuff in it, and you're off to the races. And I recently made a installing Linux and setting up Brave live stream. You can check my channel for that, so you can effectively do that all by yourself. I also did a long form install Linux video for anybody who would have any confusion on it. It answers pretty much every question you're going to run across. And that's like an hour and a half. So if you don't care about privacy, I guess you can go with Chromebook. And I mean, it's really too bad I don't trust Google for privacy and security reasons anymore, because ironically they are probably the best device in real world effect for nearly everyone. You can do almost everything on them for very, very cheap. Let's see my next question. You know what? I'm not actually looking at these comments anymore, so let me go ahead and blow this up again. Alrighty, let's see. What next? Okay, let's talk about the Amazon Nest controversy a little bit. I was going to make a video on this forever ago. I never did. An Amazon employee came out a couple of months ago before everything else took precedence in reality, right? Talking about how Amazon's Nest home security cameras and doorbells don't really have any secure way of operating, and employees were able to take over those cameras and spy on people. And this kind of thing is actually, eBay is under investigation right now for doing something similar. They didn't like someone's politics or something, and they attacked this couple who was selling stuff on eBay and mailed them stuff like live spiders and cockroaches or something, which is, oh man, it's crazy. Leave each other alone, okay? I find if you get into all that stuff deep enough, you realize no one really understands each other, and they've just been taught or trained to assign negative virtues to the other people, and in reality, nobody really knows what they're talking about half the time. Very few people are genuinely ill-intentioned. They can be selfish, and that can lead to ill intentions, though, due to lack of education. But moving on. Let's see what else I got here. Oh yeah, the Nest controversy. So I looked into this a lot, and the person made a big deal out of it, and I think it's probably a good idea to make a big deal out of that kind of thing. The problem is there is no simple way to set up a security camera in your house. Despite all the products out there, there is not a single one that is secure, it seems. Because as long as those devices are easily able to be accessed out of your house with like an app or something, that means somebody else can too. So a closed circuit type security camera setup is the best way to go. Or if you're a nerd, you already know there's ways around this, right? You can get a Synology, you can set up a Linux server and run your own security camera software and access it over a VPN, and you're as secure as you're going to be, right? Let's see. So Yeah, I think Amazon did have a pretty good response. I don't remember what it was, but can we really trust these big corporations? I don't know. The Teamviewer security issue. Great. A lot of people were talking about Teamviewer a couple months ago as well. Never made a video on it. Teamviewer's remote desktop software that technicians were primarily using, and there were bad actors using it, pretending to be tech support as well and stealing credentials. They themselves, Teamviewer was theoretically hacked at one point, and there seems to be some pretty good evidence for that, but it seems like that was quite a while ago. And at first it seems like they didn't catch it, then they did, and it seems like they fixed everything to me. And I'm pretty good at reading through corporate speak, right? And it seems like they genuinely did fix it, and all of these subsequent little booms in media against them were just not as big as they were made out to be. That is what I discovered, and I researched it rather thoroughly, and it seems like they actually did fix those security issues. So as long as you're using a secure password, it's pretty secure. The only problem is, for me, is if you install TeamViewer on Linux, it has root access. That is a pretty big deal. But if you set it not to auto start, so what, right? I mean, not great from a technical standpoint, but from a real world scenario, someone who has a low threat model, like they're not in the spotlight or anything like that, I should be fine. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to stop looking at this list. I've been doing this stream for 36 minutes. I'm going to cut it off in a little while. Let's go to my website and let's talk about privacy for a minute, because I feel like this is important. Put a lot of effort into this website. I have a page on why you should care about privacy right on there. Let me go ahead and flip over to... I almost didn't let you guys actually see this. That would be a problem, wouldn't it? That would be a big problem. Okay, great. I'm going to move my head over here. Whoa, wrong side. Boop. There we go. You don't need to see me that much. You need to see the page. Okay. So, this is the little privacy guide I have on my website, babel.tech. This is what the main page looks like. I have a little weekly Q&A thing. And you guys can email me questions anytime. Let's go ahead and go to privacy. So I have a why here. Strongly recommend you guys check that out. So I have separated this out into the basics that anyone can easily do from the get-go. And that is browser, secure messaging with Signal, which kind of works like iMessage but on all devices. So no blue and green bubbles, right? You do have to have your friends all on it though, so they will have to install it on their devices, but Android and iPhone devices of all kinds, which is all smartphones. If you're confused, if it's not an iPhone, it's an Android device. They can call it a Samsung or a Motorola, it doesn't matter, it's Android. I mean, I should say, as far as things you can get in the store, right? They calls itself a smartphone. The Pine phone is not Android, at least out of the box. So, secure browser, secure messaging, password management, Bedward, secure email, VPNs, secure DNS, secure cloud storage, backup, and Office Suite. And I mean, this is really well separated out, and you can just click whatever you want to get started with. Anybody can do this, right? Let's talk about the intermediate level now. The intermediate level is starting to get serious. That's a little subtitle there. Instead of using Windows, Chrome OS, or Mac OS, use Linux. Yay! Linux Mint is actually really easy. I would argue that it's the easiest OS in the world, not just Linux OS. It's just the easiest OS. The only problem that you can run across is your hardware or software that you're using incompatible with it, in which case you can find alternatives or replace your hardware. Those are your options, right? Most hardware is compatible with it, and I would say the most important pieces of software to most people are available on it or alternatives to it. Cloud storage and backup. I'm probably going to remove this Synology recommendation. I've I like them far less than I used to. That's not intermediate. That's ironically more advanced than advanced, I think. Advanced is setting up your own server and changing your operating system, right, on your phone. Alright guys, so check out that privacy guide. I have a lot of free stuff. I have my favorite things, which I'm going to be reformatting soon. Free stuff section, tons and tons of free software and free education. It's safe to say you could literally get into the technology field with all the free education on these pages. Whether it's programmer, sysadmin, pen tester, whatever. But my most popular thing is my Use ThinkPad Buyer's Guide. And the reason why it's popular is because it is linked by one of the biggest laptop fan pages in the world of the ThinkPad. And there's a reason for that. ThinkPads are awesome. They are affordable, used, and they are fantastic. So I highly recommend those. Well guys, I think that's it for this stream. And if you have any questions, email me at robbie@bubble.tech. And I will see you guys next time. Hey, welcome to Bubble Tech. You know, you have to have a decent amount of